Hey everyone, today we are going to learn how to hold a drumstick correctly. Okay, so we're going to learn this one drumstick at a time. So what I want you to do is I want to take your one of your drumsticks and either set them on your drum pad, set them on a music stand, or you can gently set them down on the floor next to you. And we're going to do one stick at a time. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to divide the stick into 3 equal parts. Got it? So we're going to divide it into thirds. Okay. And then on that bottom third, we're going to stick our thumb print on the stick. Now, I have these cool Vic Firth sticks, and they have an American flag printed right about where you're supposed to put that thumb. So it's a nice little cheater for you if you've got Vic Firth drumsticks. So again, we're going to put our thumb print as if we're leaving a perfect thumbprint for Sherlock Holmes to come and find on our drumstick. And then we're going to wrap our index finger around the stick right there. Okay, does everybody see that? Now, this creates what we call a fulcrum. Fulcrum is a teeter-totter spot. If anybody's ever been on a teeter-totter or seen a teeter-totter, you have one child sitting on one side and one on the other, and they go up and down, and that's the pivot point. So that pivot point is called a fulcrum. Can everybody say fulcrum? Good. Okay. Divide the stick into thirds. Thumbprint on the stick, on the flag, on the Vic Firth. Index finger gets wrapped around. And then we're going to boop, 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 just put those 3 fingers wrapped around the stick. Okay? So let's go around the classroom right now. So let's hit pause on the video, go around the classroom, and make sure everybody is doing that. Divide the stick into what? Thirds. Create a fulcrum. Thumbprint on the stick, index finger, 1, 2, 3, wrap those fingers around. All right? Around the room, let's see if everybody's doing it right. Okay, so now that we are holding the drumstick, let's look for a few things that could possibly go wrong. So I've been teaching for a long time, and we've seen some of the same mistakes over those 20 years. Number 1. We call this hitchhiker's thumb. Boop. The thumb is way, way above the rest of the hand. So the index finger's down here, but the thumb is way up there, and it looks like you're hitchhiking. Right? So we don't want to have hitchhiker's thumb. We want to make sure that our thumb and our index finger are right next to each other. Everybody see that? Okay, so mistake number 1, hitchhiker's thumb. Bad. Mistake number 2, where your thumb nail is on the stick. So have some students that will put their thumb nail instead of their thumb print on the stick. So we don't want to try and put the hard part of our thumbnail on the stick. We want to make sure that that thumb is flat and flush against that drumstick. Does everybody see that? Flat and flush. So again, making sure that there's a perfect thumbprint wrapping around. Mistake number 3, having the stick straight down the arm. This is a little bit more difficult to see, but the stick actually is off ever so slightly to the side when I have those 3 fingers wrapped around the stick. Sometimes kids will put it right down the middle of the arm as if it's retractable, right? Don't want to do that. We want this to show ever so slightly off to the side. So it runs diagonally across the hand to the fleshy part. So it's at a slight angle, okay? So that's mistake number 3. So the 3 most common mistakes are hitchhiker's thumb, thumbnail, and the straight stick. Everybody got it? Awesome. Okay, so let's build it one more time just for review. We divide the stick into thirds. Thumb print on the bottom third. Index finger wrapped around. That's the pivot point. It's almost like there's a bolt through there. Doot, doot, like your Frankenstein's monster or something. So we want to make sure there's a perfect pivot spot. And then 1, 2, 3, fingers get wrapped around. We want to make sure that we're avoiding hitchhiker's thumb. We want to make sure that we're avoiding the thumbnail on the stick. And we want to make sure that we have a slight angle and that the stick isn't going straight up. So we don't want the straight stick syndrome. Okay? Awesome. Now we have to do it with the other hand. Divide the stick into thirds. Thumbprint on the bottom third. Index finger wrapped around. 1, 2, 3 fingers, and we're good to go. All right, so that is the proper grip on the snare drum stick. So I've got both of them. Bottom third, thumbprint on the stick. I've got my cool pivot point, and I'm off to the races. Yay! Okay, everyone. Now that we know how to hold the sticks correctly, let's talk about playing position. So we're going to have 2 or 3 different positions that we want every student to memorize so that we can disseminate information and so that we can tell that they're ready to play. Okay? So the first thing is standing up and being set with your sticks comfortably at your sides. So just stand athletically. Don't stand like a soldier. I want you to stand like an athlete. Imagine a basketball player getting ready to shoot a free throw. So we don't want to stand rigid with tense muscles and that sort of thing. We want to be relaxed, feet shoulder width apart, and nice and loose with the shoulders especially. Okay, kids will grit their teeth, or their shoulders will tense up and that sort of thing. So we always want to make sure that our hands are hanging down and the drumsticks are loose in our hand, like we're holding an egg. Okay. So that's a set position. Next, from our set position, we're going to talk about playing position. Okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to lift our sticks up and we are going to create a pizza slice. Perfect, not too big, so we're not hogging the pizza, or we're not taking a big old slice of the pie at Thanksgiving. And we also don't want it to be too skinny. We don't want a tiny little diet-sized piece of pizza. We want just a regular-sized piece of pizza. Okay? So I'm going to lift that up. All right. And then I'm going to put that back down. For now, until you're taught otherwise, we're going to play right in the center of the drum pad. So I don't know if you'll notice, but I actually drew a circle. I think I just got a big gulp cup and then I just traced around it. So I made sure that I had a nice target for me to hit. Okay, so let's stand set. So if you're a teacher, or if I say get set, then we're going to stand with our hands at our sides. And that means we're almost ready to play. Then somebody will say, put your sticks in playing position, and so we're going to put them up. Okay. After that, we have one more position that I want everybody to learn, and that is listening position. Listening position is when you put your sticks together and you put them under your arms, and you can rest your hands on the drum pad, or you can stand with them just folded in front of you. That is for when we're giving instructions. So students are usually tempted to play. Of course, we're drummers. Of course we want to play. All right, we want to tap on things. We want to hit things. Your parents are going to get mad at you for drumming on the back of their car seat or at the dinner table with knives and forks and that sort of thing. And we call that pecking or hacking. Make sure that you're not hacking or that you're not pecking. Listening position with the sticks under the armpit are so that your teacher can tell you, class, listening position, put the sticks under the arm, listen. We can get the information as quickly as possible. That way you get good at drumming as fast as possible. So what we're looking for is just an efficient way to make sure that we can get instructions to you guys. And the sooner you get good, then the sooner you're going to have fun. And the more fun you have, then the harder you're going to work. And the harder you work, the better you get. And then the better you get, the more fun you have. And then it'll start to take off like a shot. And you guys will be awesome. So let's go over those 3 positions again. So hands at our side is set position. Playing position. We have our pizza slice. We're athletic. Our feet aren't together. And we're not standing too rigid. Shoulder width apart. Nice and relaxed. Like we're about to shoot a free throw. And then listening position. So if your teacher has an instruction, your teacher's going to say, listening position. Listen with your eyes as well as your ears. So when your teacher's talking to you, make sure that you make eye contact and make sure that you're affirming that you heard what they said with a head nod or a thumbs up or something like that. Okay? So those are our 3 positions. Okay, the next topic we're going to talk about is angle of attack. Now it might sound fancy, but really it just means the angle that the drumstick is going to have and how it's important to adjust the height of your drum pad or your drum in order to get the proper angle of attack. Okay? So, if we have our fulcrum, we've divided the stick into thirds, thumb, index finger on the stick. And if we just let the stick bounce, it should bounce a bunch of times on a snare drum before it stops, okay? So we're going to do that right now. Pretty cool, right? So I didn't even do anything. I just dropped the stick and it bounced on its own a bunch of times. Cool. Now here's the problem. If the drum is too low, or if my angle of attack is too steep, and I play on the tippy top of the bead, then it's not going to bounce very much. Not very good. See what I'm saying? So if you hit the tippy top like you're playing, if the bead of the stick was a globe, if this was the entire earth painted on here, we want to play as close to the southern tip of Texas as we possibly can. We definitely don't want to play way up here like we're playing on Greenland or the North Pole. We want to play nice and flat, okay? All right, so let's make sure that we play on Brownsville, Texas, all right? So we're going to drop that stick, and it's going to bounce plenty of times, okay? Another problem is if our hands are too low, and if the drum pad, if our arms are low, and the drum pad or the snare drum is too high, then we'll actually hit the rim. Oops. So we want to make sure that the elbow, the wrist, and the bead of the stick make a nice line. So we have, I'll show you from the side, that we have the elbow gently moving down to the wrist, fulcrum, and the bead of the stick, and that each of those angle down nicely. There's about 2 fingers between the stick and the rim. Sometimes 1, but never getting up to 4 or more, then the angle is going to be too high. So you're going to need to adjust your drum that you're playing at the proper angle. All right, everyone, that's enough talking. Let's have some fun hitting stuff. Let's learn the basic stroke types and the exercises that we use to practice those stroke types. All right, so let's start with a review of holding the sticks, okay? So 1 stick at a time. Divide the stick into thirds. We're going to create a fulcrum on the bottom third of the stick. Thumb print on the stick, index finger wrapped around, 3 fingers around. Okay, both sides, we have our pizza slice. Okay, so set position, playing position. Now, we're going to go sticks up, and our pizza is going to be in the up position. And we're going to talk about the first stroke type, full strokes. Some people call this stroke a full stroke. Some people call it a piston stroke, and some people call it a legato stroke. For our purposes, we're going to use the word full. So a full stroke. It's very, very simple. A full stroke is a stroke that starts up in the air, hits the drum, and then returns all the way back. So it goes fully down and fully back up. Full stroke. It goes all the way down and all the way up. So it starts and stops in the same spot. Okay? So we are going to use our wrists in order to accomplish this. So turning our wrists up, stick goes all the way down, hits the drum, and comes back up. So here's right hand, full stroke. Left hand, full stroke. So you'll notice stick went down, hit, was only on the drum pad for a split second, and then popped right back up. Boop. One of the best analogies for a full stroke is bouncing a basketball. It's an easy motion. We simply guide the basketball up in our hand, gently throw it down, and then the rebound and the action of the rubber ball hitting the ground causes it to bounce back up, and then we simply gently catch it with our hand and then push it back down again, right? So that is sort of the analogy of what we're trying to do with a full stroke. So this demonstration, one stick at a time, we're just going to throw the stick down and let it bounce back up. Maybe another analogy is like a trampoline. So we're just going to jump on the trampoline and boing, it's going to bounce right back up to where it started. So I just did 5 full strokes. Again, the stick starts up, hits the drum pad, and ends up. Left hand. So we'll do that nice and slow. Let's go around the room and have everybody try a full stroke. Okay, now that everybody's demonstrated a full stroke, we're going to teach you the very first exercise that we're going to play as a class. This exercise has been around forever, and even from beginners all the way to the best colleges and drum corps drum lines still play this exercise. It's a spectacular one, and we play it all the time. So this exercise is called 8 on a hand. So what we're going to do is we're going to play 8 full strokes on our right hand, followed by 8 full strokes on our left hand. And then we're going to do that a total of 8 times. So 8 on a hand, 8 times. All right, so I'll demonstrate it here. So we're set. Sticks in playing position. And we're going to do full strokes. So our sticks are going to start up. And we're going to do 8 full strokes with the right, 8 full strokes with the left, and we're going to do it a total of 8 times. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Third time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fourth time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Fifth time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Sixth time. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Seventh time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And eighth time. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And stop. Everybody got that? So we're going to count out loud as we play that exercise. So we're going to go 8 times on the right, 8 times on the left, for a total of 8 times. So I want you to say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we'll count the number of times on the first count. And we'll help you along. I'm sure you'll get it. Okay? So 8 on a hand, 8 times. What type of stroke are we practicing? Full strokes. Okay, so the full stroke exercise is 8 on a hand. Okay, let's review. Divide the stick into thirds. Thumbprint on the bottom third. Wrap the index finger around, create a, what's that called? Fulcrum. 3 fingers wrapped around the stick. Doop, doop, doop. Both hands, set position. Feet shoulder width apart. We're standing like the Greek god or goddess of drumming. If there was a statue at the Getty Museum of a famous drummer, it would look like you right now. Beautiful posture, set position. Now, let's go to playing position. and sticks up. And here we go with 8 on a hand. We're going to go 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 4, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 6, 7, 6, 7, 8, 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Stop. Awesome. 8 on a hand. Full strokes. Great exercise. High fives all around. Nice job. Fist bumps. Good work, everyone. All right, everyone. Let's talk about the next 2 stroke types. So, in the last part of the lesson, we learned about full strokes. A full stroke starts up and ends up. So the stick goes all the way down, hits the drum, and immediately returns to where it started. Okay? Next, we're going to learn a downstroke. So this stroke essentially goes down, hits the drum. It bounces up, but it only bounces up about an inch high. All right, so we're going to throw the stick down, but we're going to stop it right after it hits the drum head. So it's going to bounce, but it's only going to bounce a teeny little bit. Okay? And the way that we're going to make that happen is we're going to make sure that the back of the hand is closed. So, I want you to say this phrase. The back of the hand controls the front of the stick. Everybody say that with me. Ready? Go. The back of the hand controls the front of the stick. Very, very good. So, if the back of the hand is open in 8 on a hand because we want the stick to bounce up, if we make sure that the back fingers are closed, then the stick will stay down. It's actually physics. If you hold it on the proper balancing spot, the stick bounces a lot. But if you hold the stick in the back, it doesn't bounce at all. But that's what we want when we're playing a downstroke. We don't want the stick to bounce up. But we can't hold the stick there and then hold it there and then hold it there and then hold it there while we're drumming. We can't go back and forth like that. That doesn't work. So we're going to leave our fulcrum in the same spot, but we're just going to make sure that our pinky and our ring finger stay closed. And then that'll keep the stick from bouncing. Okay? So, right hand, downstroke. You see how it just dies right there? Again, so we're going to start with the stick up in the air, and then we're just going to play a stroke, making sure that we have our back fingers wrapped around the stick, and it's just going to die by the drum. Boop. Perfect. Okay, now we don't want to hold it really, really, really tight with like a death grip. And so we don't want your knuckles to turn white or to be red and for there to be any tension. You really don't have to hold the stick very hard at all. And the stick does bounce. It just bounces a teeny bit. All right, so stick up, and again, we're going to let the stick die by the head. Bingo. Nice downstroke. Let's try with the left hand. This will be a little bit harder for those of you that are right-handed. So we turn our wrist up, beat is up, wrists are down, back of the hand is closed. There it is. Piece of cake. Sticks start up and they end down. All right, so let's do a downstroke with the right hand, followed by a downstroke with the left hand. Awesome. Let's go around the room and have each student play a downstroke, one with the right hand and one with the left hand. Okay, now that everybody's demonstrated a downstroke, let's talk about an upstroke. Hey, if the stick goes down, we're going to want to pick it back up sometimes. All right, so we're going to play a downstroke, and then I'm going to demonstrate an upstroke. Okay, so downstroke, back of the hand is closed, not too tight, good fulcrum, stick stays down. Now that the stick is down only about 1 inch, this is what we're going to do. We're going to just play a quiet little tap, and then we're going to lift the stick back up in the air. It's almost like a check mark, all right, if we were drawing a check mark on a whiteboard. So that motion of going down and then boing, springing back up, okay? Did you see it? Let's try it again. Tiny little 1 inch stroke, and then we're going to lift the stick back to the up position. 1, 2, ready, go. Everybody see it? Okay, left hand, same thing. So we're starting about 1 inch from the drum pad, strike the drum, lift the stick back to where we started. All right, and 1, 2, 3, 4, up. Awesome. So now we're back where we started when we did the downstroke. That leads us to the downstroke, upstroke exercise. We usually call this one bucks. Bucks is an exercise that uses combinations of downs followed by ups. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a down and an up 4 times on the right hand, and then we're going to do a down and an up 4 times on the left hand. Okay? So we're going to call this exercise bucks. We're going to do the entire thing 4 times total. So we're going to go 4 times on the right, 4 times on the left, 4 times on the right, 4 times on the left, and then we're going to hit a stop. Everybody got it? And the stop, by the way, will be a full stroke. Okay? So I'm going to demonstrate the bucks exercise. Down, then up. Down, up, down, then up, and down, up, and then we switch hands. And down, and then up, down, and then up. This is the third one, and up, and the fourth. And then switch hands, down, and then up, down, and up, down, then up, down, and then we're up. Switch last time, down, and then we're up, down, and then up, down, and then up, down, and then up, hit a stop. There we go. So that's the bucks exercise. So what I'd like right now is I'd like everybody in the room to do a down and then an up 4 times on their right, and then we'll go around the room again and do a down and an up 4 times with your left. So let's go around the room, 1 student at a time, right hand bucks, and then the next time through we'll do left hand bucks. Let's give that a go. Okay, now that everybody's demonstrated that they can do downs and upstrokes, let's try the exercise a couple of times, all right? So we really want to focus on making sure that our downstroke is 1 inch high. So if the stick bounces up, just make sure that you recover and that you put the stick back down by the drum head, and then just do a quiet little tap and then lift the stick back up, all right? So we're going down and then up, and then we'll go down and then up. I'm doing my best to freeze and be as still as a statue when I do the downstroke. And then at the last second, I'll just do a tiny little tap and lift the stick up. One of the things that we're going to look out for is we don't want the stick to go down and then to wiggle or to do anything and then go up. We want it to be completely still. So still, and then up, and then hold still. All right, so make sure you're frozen and then that you lift, okay? So we're going to focus on that when we're doing this exercise. The back of the hand controls the front of the stick. So on bucks, should our fingers be slightly open or slightly closed? They should be slightly closed. So if you answered slightly closed, give yourself a high five. High five your neighbor. Nice job. Okay. Bucks, down and up strokes, 4 times on each hand. We're going to go super slow. 1, 2, down, and then we'll go up, and down, then up, down, and then up, down, and then up, and we're down and then up. Switch to the left hand. Down and up, down and then up, down, then we're up, down, up. Switch again to the right hand. Down and up, down and up, down, freeze the stick, up, down, freeze, up. Last time on the left hand. Down and then up, second one and up, freeze the stick down. And last time we're going to hit a stop and stop. Good. All right. So is everybody getting the down, freeze, and then up, down, freeze, up? So let's work on that. A good way to practice this is to go home, to make a video of yourself doing it, or to use a mirror or something like that, and just make sure that you're holding that stick with the back fingers, the stick stays down, and the stick goes up, and that we're getting a big difference. Awesome. So now we know 3 strokes. We know how to do a full stroke, we know how to do a downstroke, and we know how to do an upstroke. Awesome. Okay, everyone. Now that we know 8 on a hand and bucks, and how to practice full strokes, downstrokes, and upstrokes, that is going to be your homework assignment. I want everybody to review how to hold the sticks, how to create a fulcrum, how to play full strokes, be able to explain to somebody, like a sibling, or tell your parents exactly how to do it. Even make an instructional video, just like the one you're watching right now. Make a video of yourself teaching other people how to divide the stick into 3 parts, how to create a fulcrum, things to watch out for. Teach them what a full stroke is, that it starts up, hits the drum, and ends up, and what exercise goes with that, 8 on a hand. Same thing with downstrokes and upstrokes, that the back of the hand controls the front of the stick, that we control the stick down and we freeze, and then we tap and then we lift back up, and that those are down and upstrokes. And we practice bucks. So I'd like you to go home, and I want you to make sure that you're spending at least 5 or 10 minutes a day working on full strokes, downstrokes, and upstrokes. And I think it would be really, really cool for everybody to make their own really short, maybe 60 or 90-second instructional video on how to do them yourselves, okay? So that's your homework assignment for the time being. To purchase your copy of Developing the Percussionist Musician, click on the link in the description below, or visit the Developing the Percussionist Musician Facebook page and click Shop Now.